I've been wearing this top all day, and the whole day I've been thinking, what does this colour remind me of? I got home and I opened my toiletry cupboard and I saw this. Do you know what I'm going to do? Oh no. One MAC lip paint does not a beauty blogger make. Okay, it's day 19 and Lena is officially broken. Frequently asked question is, what am I reading at the moment? Avoiding answering this question because in some circles it's embarrassing how much I'm reading. A word on not continuously reading things through. I used to feel really bad about this and it actually stopped me from reading as much because I felt like I couldn't finish a book and it meant that I couldn't start another book. Now I think about all the books I could have read when I was enthusiastic about reading but not enthusiastic about a specific book, and it seems incredibly inefficient. Just because an author has an idea that lasts 300 pages doesn't mean that your attention span is also carried away with those 300 pages. It depends on whether you're interested in the subject, if you've been taken in by the characters, if it's the kind of book that really suits you. Just because you haven't finished a book in one sitting or continuously doesn't mean it's not a good book, and it also doesn't mean that it's not a good book for you. I'm going to talk you through some of the books I'm reading at the moment and why I haven't finished them, but don't consider them to be books I have abandoned. I frequently abandon books. I have a 100-page rule. If by 100 pages I don't think you're a good writer or I'm just not really interested in anything else that happens in the book, I abandon it. It's gone. I picked up a book at work today on my way home and I started reading it on the tube. I got to page 26 when I had to change trains and I was sitting on the platform waiting for the next train and I was just thinking, nah. So I just put it down on the bench and I walked away. It's not bad to abandon books. In fact, it's very healthy to abandon books that you don't want to read because there's so many other books to read in the whole world and literally about 300 books get released every week. Think about that, it blows your mind. Just like it's important not to date everybody that's interested in you, it's also important not to read every book that comes in your path. Okay, so first up is one that I have been reading for not very long actually, but I'm really interested in it. It's called The Ministry of Nostalgia by Owen Hathaway. Basically, so far he's unpacking this idea of keep calm and carry on, and this like fetishizing of austerity in our culture, how this idea of make, do and mend has made us a society that doesn't really question where all of the real money is going. It's really interesting. Genuinely will review it when I get a chance. This one fascinates me, and the reason that I haven't finished it, I guess, is because I'm absorbing the ideas that I've already had from it. I've already dog-eared it quite a lot and I've been having lots of ideas about the stuff that I've already absorbed. So I think I've just been going away to absorb what it's already taught me, and then I can go back and receive again once that bit's sunk in, because I feel like if I finish it all in one sitting, it won't all go in because I'm having so many revelations. So many revelations. This one, I still haven't finished. This is in proof form. It's Anxiety for Beginners, and it is a really, really well written commentary on the science of anxiety and lots of people's experiences with it, and as somebody who doesn't really experience anxiety, it's been hugely helpful. However, because I don't experience anxiety, and it's not when I'm reading people's experiences, it's not something that I'm like, oh yeah, me too. It's more like, is that what it's like? It actually kind of makes me quite anxious and it just makes me panic a little bit, I'll be honest. Just because it's such an accurate, well-written book from what I can understand, and that's why I haven't finished you. But I will come back because I've already learned a lot from it, and I do recommend it genuinely. I started this when I went to Salzburg last year. This is The Pursuit of Happiness and Why It's Making Us Anxious by Ruth Whitman. And I stopped reading this because I learned so much about Silicon Valley that I wanted to go away and look it up, because I was like, I don't really understand what she's saying, because I want to know who all these people are that she's talking about, and I want to know who all these companies are and the history of them. Like the history of Google and stuff really interests me, so I wanted to go back and like actually research the stuff that she was telling me in it. But I already made loads of notes about my own personal life in the margins, so clearly this has spoke to me quite a lot already. I will go back and research that properly, although I might have to start from the beginning again. But I'm not that sad about that because it's a really interesting non-fiction. A lot of these non-fiction, as you can tell. Moran, Manifesto. I still consider this not completely finished, even though I have read most of it. Because these are wrap-ups of her articles in the Times, and they're not really in any specific order apart from what she's chosen to put them in, I basically go through, whenever I feel like reading it, I go through and I pick one that I want to read, and then I just tick it off. So I'm not reading it all in order, and also there's just some that I know I'm never going to read, so it's probably never going to finish. Just stuff about Doctor Who, because I don't watch Doctor Who, and one of them's about Tom Jones. I don't really care about Tom Jones. There's a few things that I'm like, these are going to be in-jokes I'm not going to get, because they're supposed to have appeared in a national newspaper in context of something else. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying. I basically read this one, and also if I really, really love one that I want to revisit, I put a little heart by it. Aww. And then this one is I Met Lucky People, which I've been reading for such a long time. It's about the history of the Romany Gypsies. Not only have I been putting the post-it notes in it, but I've been making extensive notes on the post-it notes. The Romany people are a nation like few others, without territory, national sovereignty, or formal institutions, and with no tradition of agriculture or ownership of land. Unlike other groups that have won a measure of inclusion in recent decades, they have struggled to have their voice heard. If they are to have a future, it's time we brought our thinking about them out of the Dark Ages and into the modern world. I really want to say as little about this book as possible, just because I want to finish it and I want to like really appreciate it and love it before I talk about it properly, but that's my fave. Can you tell that non-fiction's definitely my thing? Audiobooks is another place where I have lots of currently reading books. You don't only have to be in the mood for the subject matter of the book, you also have to be in the mood for the reader. At the moment I'm listening to a book called Black and British, which is about the untold / forgotten / hidden history of black people in Britain. Exit West by Mohsen Hamid, who's one of my favourite authors, and that's his new book. It's so exciting. I'm re-listening to The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer, and I'm listening to Design Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans, which is the most American self-help book I've ever listened to, and I'm not sure about it. Do you guys have a huge currently reading list? All hail the people that can just sit down and read lots of books chronologically, one after the other. Either way, tell me what you're currently reading in the comments below. I'm making 40 videos in 40 days. If you want to watch the playlist, you can click here to do that. Thanks for watching, and never fail, I will see you tomorrow. I don't have any milk! Where's the milk?